We are live and welcome to Free to Talk Kitchen yet again. How is everyone today? I hope you're doing well. If you are joining us and watching us, please give us a little like and comment just so I know who's watching, who's taking part. We'll give it a few minutes before we actually start the recipe. But yeah, you should be able to see that I've got a blue hand. It's because this morning I tried to potato peel my thumb whilst I was doing the washing up. So just to make sure nothing goes anywhere, I've got a plaster on, and then this as well, because there does involve some like elbow grease in mixing it all up. So we are live on Facebook and YouTube. So if you are watching, I'm going to wait for a few people to join us just before I start properly. Gives me a chance to have my tea as well, which is great. Yeah, so today we are doing oat biscuits with a little bit extra oat biscuits. We can make these in different ways. They are fairly simple in how they go together. And I've just realised I've forgotten something I need. Definitely need something. I need a bowl to do some mixing. Just an extra bowl. So, yeah, if you are watching, please give us a little like. Please do a little comment. Just say hi. Just say hi to me so I can say hi back. Because I haven't got Connor with me this week. Now, I did suggest he join us again today. I think if anyone listened to the radio yesterday, you would have heard me say that. But he asked what we were going to cook, and I said beef Wellington. And he got a bit scared, and he just went, "No, I don't want any part of it." But the joke's on him. We're just making oat biscuits. Sorry, Connor. Hope you're all right. So, yeah, here we go. Again, just give it a few minutes, see if we get anyone on. Obviously, if no one's watching me live, they can just go back and watch this because it is going to be streamed to Facebook and YouTube. So on the Facebook, I've been on Free to Talk CIC, our youth worker Facebook, and our YouTube channel. I mean, YouTube channel, I don't know how many people have got subscribed at the moment, but it's just called Free to Talk Youth and Community. Now, it's kind of an umbrella channel for some of the other stuff we do. So some of the films I did last year involving young people doing interviews, Knives End Lives, that's on there. Some of the computer Free to Talk gaming stuff is kind of linked to there as well. So yeah, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do, because we do put stuff on other stuff. Hi James, good luck with the biscuits and remember to save me some. Well, I can't save you any if I don't know who you are. So you can see Paige. Why can't I see Paige commenting? I've been having some issues with the comments on here. Not working properly. Oh no, I can see your comment now. That's a bit weird. Hi Paige, hope you're good. So we are making, as I said, oat biscuits. Really, really, really easy to make, and you can put whatever you like in them, basically. So I am mixing mine up with some mixed raisins and currants. Now you can put some like nuts, like broken up nuts in there. If you want a bit of a nut crunch. You can add, because I'm adding a sneaky chocolate topping to it. You can add like a salted caramel topping if you so wish. Depending on time, I might try and quickly whip up some up. I'll just have to check where my scales are because I need to get some actual proper measurements for it because it does involve using a lot of stuff. Paige, you want some saved as well. And it was Nicola who wants a biscuit saved. Well, maybe. Do you know what? Because Paige, you're part of our Free to Talk Cinema Club on Mondays, which we still have spaces for if anyone wants to be involved. We are going to be watching Schindler's List on Monday, so it's a bit of a long film. So I'm trying to prep some people with some extra goodies of popcorn and whatnot. But maybe, do you know what? Maybe I could make some biscuits and Nicola could come pick them up and then deliver. What do we reckon? Is that something everyone go for? Some special biscuits made by James with love and appreciation. I'm waiting for you to comment and just let me know. So, For oat biscuits, the recipe is in the description, should be attached to all these videos. You should be able to see it. But the basis of these oat biscuits is porridge oats, flour, caster sugar, butter, golden syrup, baking powder. So you see these 2 extra ingredients I've got there. There's just I'm adding some extra stuff, but that is the basis. Now, instead of golden syrup, you could use honey. If you just prefer honey to golden syrup, it's entirely up to you. But the things you definitely do need for this is the flour and the porridge and caster sugar, baking powder, all that kind of stuff for the actual baking process. They said, "Oh yes, please." Right, okay. I'll see what I can do about that. Because do you know what? I'm actually quite looking forward to this episode because I haven't baked in ages, absolutely ages. I actually did. I think this is quite a while ago now. I went through a little period of it over a few weeks of actually making biscuits specifically for our team meetings that we had with the other youth workers, and everyone loved it. I just made biscuits, and I used it as an excuse to teach some of the young people how to make biscuits. It was great. As long as there's extra of me, can't guarantee they will get where they go. That is true. You got to be careful with Nicholas. You'll eat all the biscuits. Right, so the extras I am putting into my oat biscuits today. I've got the mixed currants. Now you probably just want about 2 tablespoons, really, to go into the entire mixture. Now, as I said, you don't have to put these in, but I'm keeping these oat biscuits for myself, and I want them to be a little bit healthy and have some extra stuff in them. But we are going to be a bit naughty, and we're going to make some melted chocolate to go on top so they can cool. And you'll have a chocolate topping. Think of it like an oat chocolate digestive, really, a bit. That's what we're making from scratch. So yeah. So how are we going to start? Really, really simple. Is you need to get your oven on. So 180 needs to warm up. Just making sure I haven't got anything in there left over. Because I actually did that last weekend. So my girlfriend made some American-style thick pancakes, and you kind of leave the oven on a low heat, and you leave them in the oven just to kind of cook through while you make all the others. And we forgot that we left them in there, and we came back a few hours later to make a roast dinner, and was like, "Oh, pancake-flavored roast dinner." Wasn't everything it's all meant to be honest. It was all right. So I've got a little bowl. You only need a little bowl for this, so I'll show that there. And you just simply want to add your porridge oats, your flour. Leave that there so you can see it. You've got your baking powder. Baking powder is important. So you want 1 teaspoon of baking powder, fairly level. Put that in, and then the caster sugar. In we go. All you need to do with that, just mix it all together. Mixy, mixy, mixy. Now I'm using gluten-free flour, simply because my girlfriend is a celiac, can't eat gluten. Now, if you are making this, I would advise, because I've actually used plain flour, but use some wholemeal flour. It just adds a little bit extra to it, a bit of extra taste. It's better for you as well, so it'll be good. Connor and I are going to do some detached work around Thorpeland's shops at 6 this evening if you want to join us. Oh, there you go, Paige. Yeah, actually, Daddy's fishing. I like that. I haven't been fishing in ages. You know, I'm originally from the coast. I used to go to a place called Deal. Got a pier. And my dad used to take us fishing quite a lot. I was really bad at it. Like, really bad. I mean, as a kid, I was a little bit, I suppose, afraid of the bugs you'd put on the fishing hooks for sea fishing. I can't even remember what they're called. Answers in the comments, please. Remember what they're called for your fish, like sea fishing mainly. I do remember catching a massive crab once off the pier. Now, I was 7, I suppose, so it probably wasn't that big. But for me at 7, it was huge, huge. I also remember, because you used to catch what's called pouting, which is like small fish. And I remember my mum. If my mum may watch this, and she'll say it's true. My mum got annoyed with me like once because I'm such an honest person that there was a fishing competition, And when a guy was coming down to mark how many fish like people had caught, there was another kid with his like mum and dad next to me, and because I'd only caught like one and they'd caught like 8 or something. They said, well, you could. He pulled up one. He said, you can have that. And then a guy came down to mark it. He went, oh, whose fish is this? And I was like, it's his. He caught it. And my mum was like, shut up. You could have got extra there. So for that fishing competition, I only won a thermos. So there we go. Right. So once that's nicely kind of just mixed together, what we want to do now, I'm just going to get my baking parchment out of the way because we do need that for later. Now we need to melt the butter in with the syrup and some milk. Now for this recipe, probably it's 2 tablespoons of milk just to mix in. You don't need much. I will do. I wouldn't normally measure just because I'm that kind of person. You know, there's much less washing up this week as well from this, unless I do the salted caramel, but we'll see. Right, so what you want to start off with, oh, wrong one, is you really just want it on a low heat because you just want it to melt a little bit. Bit extra there, that's fine. And then the golden syrup. Yeah, so as I said, you can use honey instead if you want. Just going to squeeze it in. Make an estimation, James. Ooh, I reckon that's enough. I mean, we'll definitely find out, won't we? Yeah, so you just want to melt that down. As I said, just start off on a low heat. Little mix, get that going. So what have I missed? You love fishing. I love to use the catapults to launch the bait in the water. Would be helpful if I actually turned the hob on. Honestly, it's the best policy. Thank you, Paige. Yeah, that's what I tried to do. But do you know what? I mean, my mum, I remember at the end, my mum was like, you could have beaten that kid. You got like 2 or whatever. And I was like, I don't really care. Not that bothered. I've never really been that competitive, except at FIFA. Which is a weird one, but I'm competitive in a weird way. Right, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to get these bits out of the way so you can see me cooking. So you can see that all simmering down a bit. So when you you want to prepare a baking tray with some parchment. I think you can see it there. Just for the cookies, oat biscuits, whatever you want to call them to go on. Yeah, so that's, I'm just going to turn that down a bit. So you just want to melt it a bit slowly, to be honest, because you don't want it to burn. Now, the golden syrup, the milk and the butter, it just kind of, it's almost a little bit like a caramelization stuff. Oh, hello, Casey. Hello. Nice to see you. Saw you jump. It was really cool, that. You're going to, for our Free to Talk TV, you're going to become our sports commentator. That's what I reckon. Right, it's almost there. So once it's fully melted, that's when we can add in the oats. Do you know what I forgot? I forgot about the currants. I'll mix them in a second. Gives me a chance to have my swig of tea. Yeah, so that's bubbling all right, all quite nicely. Oh, thanks, Paige. See? Now, I play a lot of well, not at the moment because of social distancing, but play a lot of like geeky board games and stuff with friends. And I'm renowned for being the worst roller of dice ever. I always lose at Monopoly, Cluedo, that kind of stuff, because it all involves having to roll dice and always roll them on ones. I'm really bad at it. All right, so I'm just going to check the consistency. That looks good. So once you got it kind of this, I think so it's almost like orangey yellow, like a golden colour. That's what you want. Turn that off. And then in go the flour and oats. And the sugar. Let's put in those as well. Nice and simple. And then you just want to cover it. So just make sure it's all a nice wet mixture all the way through, so there's no dryness left. So you can see that consistency on there. There's a bit of a delay on my camera. So you can see that consistency. So I've got a nice, you just want to make sure it's fairly well mixed in. So just so you've got the currants, or if you're adding like some nuts to it, maybe, just like evenly mixed all the way through. It's all good. Right, how's my oven doing? Right, it's almost there. You prefer the drinking version of Monopoly. Wow. I'm not going to recommend that at this period in time, unfortunately, Paige, being a responsible adult that I am. Right. So what we're going to do, got a baking tray. Now this should give you probably 10 biscuits, I suppose, is a good number. And you can see it's really, really, really sticky. So what we're going to do, all you need is a mug, some hot water, just boil the kettle, get a spoon. Now you want a tablespoon for the measurements of this, put it in the hot water. Tea, yeah, I like that. Do you know what? I love drinking tea. Tea for me is one of the greatest things ever. This is, I think this is my third cup already. I mean, I drink so much tea, I have to have decaf in the house as well, because I can only have a certain amount of caffeine. Otherwise, it makes me go a bit mental. Or mentaler. Now, this is a good trick with a spoon, okay? So, right, honey. I love honey. I love honey on toast for breakfast. Now, what you can do is, now this is a bit weird. It's a bit weird. So what I do is I leave the spoon in my tea, right, when I wait for the toast to cook. And then after I put the butter in, my spoon is still in my hot tea, even though I've finished the tea. And I take the spoon out and I use it to scoop honey out. And then the honey just rolls straight off because it's hot. It doesn't get stuck. And this is what's going to happen to this. So just big little bunch like that. Don't need to press it down, but there, see? Works a treat. Let's get all the good bits off the wooden spoon. Don't need that. Now you do want to make sure there's a decent gap between the biscuits. Oh, here we go. Not quite hot enough on that one. So you do need a decent gap between them. Because obviously when they cook in the oven, they will go whoop. Do you know what? They don't have to be even at all. That's the whole point of homemade biscuits, isn't it? They're meant to be a bit off kilter, aren't they? A bit weird, a bit wonderful. A bit like me. A bit weird and a bit wonderful. Well, that's what my mum calls me anyway. Also, I don't like symmetry when I'm baking, so I'm just going to place them wherever I like. As long as there's a bit of a gap. So, in reality, these are probably a bit too close together. But we'll find out. Be a nice surprise. All right, probably got the last little bit for one last one. So that's 8 biscuits I've made. That's fine. So, I mean, with the recipe, you can just double it up. It's really easy. I'm so wild. Really wild show. Put the big one over here, shall we? Yeah, so double up the recipe. You'll obviously get a bit more. There we go. Put some water in there just to soak. Shouldn't go all over the place. Right, so there we go. We've got some biscuits ready, all different shapes and sizes, how I like it. The oven is not quite up to temperature. It's almost there. So I'm just going to risk it. Right, I need someone to put on a timer for 15 minutes. Right, now we're going to prep some chocolate. Now, to melt the chocolate, you need what's called a bain-marie. I don't know if most people know what that is, but a bain-marie is basically you've got a saucepan of hot water, bowl, glass preferably that goes on top, not plastic because it will melt, and then some chocolate. So all you want to do is just break the chocolate into the chunks. Now, if you try and just melt the chocolate as normal in a pan, you will burn the chocolate. It kind of goes the consistency of like a brownie almost like fluffs up a little bit. It goes a bit weird. It's like you get those recipes for like brownies, like pre-made that you can put in the microwave. I really don't like them. They're really annoying. Right, so let's check the time. Cool, excellent. So all we're going to do with this is we're going to use a smaller hob. I don't want it to burn too much. And you're just going to boil the water. Really nice and simple. Boil away. And we're ready to go. Now, I don't know if I've got time to do the caramel. Let me check. I will have to check the measurements of the ingredients because what I remember it's it's fairly easy to do. He says, I say it's fairly easy. I just can't remember the measurements. Right. I don't think I've... Yeah. So you need the heavy cream. I don't think I got that. Because I sent... Connor went to the shop for me yesterday, bless him. And I think I forgot to put it on the list. So what I'll do is I shall try and pick some up ready for the biscuits for delivery. How about that? Does that sound fair? Really sorry I won't be able to do that. But what we'll do, we'll just melt the chocolate ready instead. So while we're waiting for these bits to bake and melt, has anyone got any suggestions on some other recipes they'd like to see? I mean, put them in the comments. If there's something you'd like to learn how to do, just let me know. There are very few things I haven't made at some point because I like experimenting. But yeah, if there's something you want to learn how to do, from fresh, and also, I mean, if possible, stuff that can fit into about an hour slot. I mean, this week will probably be over a bit quicker just because of the nature of what we're making, because it's kind of really quick and easy. Yeah, but for next week, if you've got a suggestion, let me know. Put it in the comments, or just send me a message on Facebook. Do anything, Free2talk CRC or our own personal Facebook. If you want to be on camera with me like I did last week with Connor to have a cook-off, again, let me know. We can organise it. All you need is your phone, the internet, and a camera on it. That's it. And we can sort everything else out. All right, so that's melting fairly nicely. Let that boil away. So yeah, anyone got any suggestions on what they'd like to see? Come on, let me know. Don't forget to like and comment as well. Let me know these things. Because also the difficulty with baking really is there's always this waiting time. So it's just me just talking to myself because I've got no one else to talk to. This is why it's a shame Connor's not here, because at least we could have a talk off a little bit. Oh, deja vu. Same talk off. That's a bit weird, isn't it? So what I'll do instead, I'm just going to put some stuff away in the kitchen that needs to be put away. I'm nice like that. I also need to get a proper sign made, I reckon, Free2talk kitchen, just to show it off. A marvellous idea. Marvellous. Oh, no one's watching now, apparently. Well. Look at that chocolate being melted. Nice and simple. Oh, look at it just melt away. Love it. I think we need to check out your creative skills and do a Ready, Steady, Cook theme session next week. I'll get Connor to drop a bag of random ingredients and we can watch you create. Okay, challenge accepted. Maybe not drop it off like 15 minutes just before I go live, because to make sure all the equipment works, I need a bit of prep. So maybe the night before. Show my creative skills. Yeah, okay, I'm up for that. I think it'd be funny. Who was it? Was it Ainsley Harry at Ready Steady Cook? I can't remember. No, that was Can't Cook, Won't Cook, wasn't it, Ainsley? Obviously, any young people watching this got no idea who he is. Right, so that's nicely melting down. Now, whilst we wait for the biscuits to cook, we do want to kind of just make sure that stays melted. Now, it's going to be quite hot. Now, I've got asbestos hands from working in the kitchens before, but do make sure you have an oven glove ready for taking. That sounds like cheating. That's not cheating. How is that cheating? You got to also remember that for health reasons, I'm still effectively on full lockdown. So when anything comes in, like from outside, we have to wash it completely to make sure it's safe for myself and my partner. So that's kind of why I say like the night before. But I won't wash it I'll wash it and just leave it, and I won't think about it, because I only think about these stuff in work time. He did both. Oh, he did both. Oh, okay. Maybe I'm misremembering everything from all that time ago. Oh, I think I've made a mistake. The biscuits are massive. They are humongous. They are massive. It kind of, I think I've just basically joined them all into one a little bit, which is hilarious. So you do want to get a rack out, really, to cool your biscuits on. They should just come straight off the baking parchment, really. But you will need a spatula. I've only got a metal one because we had like a proper eco one that kind of broke, but I kind of need that to get stuff through, really. Oh, my phone just buzzed for weirdly. Yeah, he doesn't love a big biscuit. Well, apparently me. I love massive biscuits, apparently. It's almost like I've just made one big biscuit. So, how we did on time? I can't remember when I put them on. About 10 minutes? Has it been 10 minutes? Remembering for a delay in me recording and then talking to you? Just give the chocolate a nice little bit more of a stir. Just make sure it doesn't solidify too much. 6 minutes left. Okay. You may need to give me a 1 minute warning because of the delay, which is hilarious. Now, obviously, there's a big temptation as well when you're baking to open up your oven, but just don't. Just resist. I used to do it all the time, like when making Yorkshire puddings. One of my favourite things is Yorkshire puddings. I absolutely love them. And the difficulty when making them with my partner, because as I said earlier, she's gluten-free, is they don't work as well. We haven't worked out the proper recipe for it yet. But yeah, if you open up too early, of course, the Yorkshire puddings goes, ooh, cake. Ooh, you're just making all the baking sad. Actually 5 minutes. Right, okay. So yeah, just resist the temptation. Now, it's not too bad if you like kind of roasting stuff, really, but baking, because they're relying on that heat staying in, really. If you kind of open the door and let any kind of cool air in or anything, it just messes it up. So resist. It's very important. Right, I'm just going to move this to different hob, but still keep a low heat going, just so it doesn't solidify. But then I can get me baking tray on there out the oven, nice and safe, with my lovely oven glove. There we go. See, safety first, everybody. Even though I say I've got asbestos hands, sometimes even I get burnt. And this from this morning, I cut myself. Even I cut myself. So, got to be careful. And I did this washing up. So, basically, I use that as an excuse to show that because washing up is so dangerous, I shouldn't do it, so my girlfriend's going to do it instead. I don't think she heard that. Maybe she hears it, everything will go wrong. I think I've just got a message through on the other phone, so the camera might go off. No, you just sent me a message. That's a message from earlier. Sorry, Nicola, I missed all the messages. Simply because I use my other phone as a camera, you see. It's camera one. Selective hearing, maybe, on what? Oh, yeah, from the girlfriend. So what's the time? Are we almost there? Surely we're almost there. Are we there? Are we almost there? Because I'm using both my phones as cameras, so normally I'm pretty good at this for timing. I do it straight away, put a timer on my phone. Done. Simple. Get it done. 2 minutes. 2 minutes Turkish. 2 minutes Turkish. What film is that line from? Put your answer in the comments. Winner gets an extra biscuit. Two minutes Turkish. Oh, see, when you're waiting for stuff to finish baking, it just seems like to take forever. Oh, 1 minute. Right, 1 minute. Right, so I'm going to take a risk. Even though I said don't do this, I do need to have a quick look. So, I have made one humongous biscuit, proving that you need to leave space between stuff sometimes. Lock, stock. Well done. You can have an extra biscuit. One humongous biscuit. Right, so what we're going to do, do you know what? It's going to be a really easy fix. Just going to make some space between them. Oh, it's crumbling out a bit. Needs a bit longer. Just try and make it a bit easier to separate. Look, this one is massive. So what we're going to do, we're just going to put that back in a little bit. Hopefully, the separation there will make it a bit easier to separate. So what I'm going to do is, instead of a proper timer, I'm just going to kind of use my own thought processes really there. That's a bit hot. So, I mean, so we've got imaginary, ingredients for next week. What about the week after? Is there anything else anybody would like to see cooked? You need to let me know. Oh, that's my battery power going. So what we're going to do, we're going to leave the oat biscuits just for another 5 minutes in there. They haven't quite stuck together as well as I'd hoped. It's because I haven't baked in so long. So long. I was considering a practice run. maybe instead of using a tablespoon, should have done a teaspoon. What do you reckon? So ready for Monday, that's how I shall make the biscuits. A teaspoonful. I did used to work with made cupcakes. She had a little side business making cupcakes. They were amazing. They were beautiful and tasted great. She was really good at it. Should have got some lessons off her. Because cakes is one of those things I've never really been that good at making. I've always been about, you know, the general cooking and roasting and meat, basically. Lots and lots and lots of meat. Right, so about 40 minutes in, gonna leave these biscuits. Another few minutes. I'm gonna keep an eye on the clock myself here, just so I can get an estimate. Yeah, so when you get those biscuits out, what you need to do, you need to get them on to a place to cool, like a little rack, and they really need to cool down. I don't know, 15 minutes really, I suppose, or just until they go solid. I reckon 15 minutes is normally the right time. But as they're cooling, what we're going to do, we're going to put a little dollop of chocolate on each one. And then as it cools, that chocolate should solidify. And you get some chocolate-covered oatcakes. I obviously will taste a little bit of the oatcake as it's hot anyway, just to make sure. But yeah, double up. If you're making more, I mean, that's just ended up in the I've made a tray bake by accident. That's what I've done. You can just add more stuff to it. And the joys of being in the kitchen and baking is it gets really hot. Really, really, really hot. So that's why I'm constantly drinking the water at the moment. I mean, it's a bit of an odd day out there as well. It's like hot and cold. A bit close, as my nan would used to say. A bit close. It's a bit close, James. Bless her. Right, we're almost there, I reckon. Obviously, already broken my cardinal rule that I said earlier. Resist, resist, resist. Yeah. I reckon that is a good colour to be at. So what we're going to do, we're going to be very careful here. Tastes good. Tastes fine. Probably because I'm using gluten-free flour, that's why it kind of falls apart a bit. When you use normal flour, it should stick a lot easier, stay together. So I'm just going to get a couple out. I mean, it tastes fine. Tastes great. But I might have to leave my main one to cool on there. But before I do that, I'm going to show you a little trick, just the chocolate, to give you less to clear up, really. So I'm going to move this, my camera one. Now, just before you do the chocolate, just get a bit of parchment, or once you've moved everything onto the tray, just use the same parchment. Now, I can't do that just at this moment in time, just because of how I've made it. Let's get you a good view there. Right, and here we go. So you melted chocolate, little spoon, just spoon it on, spread it out. Now, I've used dark chocolate, mainly because my girlfriend prefers it. So then if you get any runoff, you've basically got everything underneath, which will do good. Right, there we go. Some biscuits. Look all right, don't they? Really rough and ready around the edges. Love this bit. Tastes great. They do. Do you know what? So mine fall apart, as I said, because of gluten-free flour. Because the gluten is the binding agent that really keeps everything together. So if you try this at home with your own normal flour, say wholemeal or plain, they will really stay together. These just end up a bit crumbly. That is all. But yeah, there we go. That was Free to Talk Kitchen. Thank you very much for joining us. I've got some normal flour, I think, somewhere. So ready for Monday. I'll try and make some normal biscuits for Nicholas to take round and to eat and try. And see if I can get the ingredients ready to get some salted caramel on there as well. So yeah, but thank you very much for joining me. That's been Free to Talk Kitchen. Hope you have a good rest of your day, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.